Hello, everyone. Welcome to WDHT's Off the Cuff. And today we have with us Walter Prevzovich, who is our Dearborn Heights City Clerk, along with Kathy Birchfield, who is our Deputy Clerk. Welcome to the two of you, and thank you for being here and taking the time to talk about this important topic of voting.
Thank you, Steve. We appreciate you giving us this opportunity to communicate some things with our citizens and residents.
Absolutely, voting is such a primary topic these days, especially with our conditions as they are right now. They're very challenging. On a normal basis, they're challenging. So I can imagine, trying to put everything together expeditiously, for our citizens, and I know that you're doing a phenomenal job trying to address all the issues that we are having. You want people to register to vote as early as possible, so there's not that backlog. So what is your advice to that? I mean, how can they get on this and get on it quickly and make it easier for themselves and for you to process all this information? Walter.
Yeah. Exactly. We really are encouraging everybody to register to vote now, immediately. Although the laws do allow people to register up to and including election day, that creates some difficulties for those that procrastinate or wait until close to the election to do that. Namely, on election day, it's a long process if you want to register to vote and vote on election day. This happened in March, and what happens is you have to fill out a voter registration, and then we have to put it into the computer in the Michigan Qualified Voter File. Then we have to issue you an absentee ballot application. You have to fill that out. We then have to take that application and put that, into the computer and issue you a ballot and a ballot number. So I think you can imagine that's a timely process. And if you have many people who want to register to vote, in March we had a line at City Hall probably starting about 8:30 and it lasted till 9:30 at night.
That's crazy.
And the people were patient, the people were great, but it was just it was confusing, and so therefore, we don't know what the future is going to bring us. We don't know what our elections are going to look like, whether they're going to be in person, whether they're going to be absentee, whether they will be a mixture. And just to avoid people having to do that, I can just imagine in November, if our situation is similar to what we are now, with 6 feet of distancing and 40 people want to register to vote and vote, the lines will be out the door. It could be snowing and we won't be able to accommodate that.
Absolutely. So you would suggest that people maybe go online to vote. I know you weren't too crazy about using the mail system, but if they absolutely had to and weren't privy to online, they can do that as well. What other options would they have coming down to the city clerk's office? And I know those hours are not as prevalent as they have been. So is the city clerk's office open a certain time for individuals that want to come in person, or is it not?
Presently, we're not open. I am not aware of when we will be open to the public, and when we do open, I'm not sure what that process
looks like.
And once again, how many people we can accommodate in the building and so forth and so on. So there's several ways. You could register to vote by mail. You can register to vote online. There's a website, mvic.sos.state.mi.us.
And we'll put that up on the screen as well.
Thank you. It's the Michigan Voter Information Center. It'll walk you through, and you can register online. That would be my suggestion currently, is for everybody to register online.
And also, maybe people who have not utilized the absentee ballots prior to this COVID-19 age may want to do that. Kathy, can you tell us a little bit about that and what the process is? And usually that was saved for individuals who maybe were traveling or could not get to the polls. So what is the policy behind that now, and how can people do it?
Right, yes. Now anybody can apply for an absentee ballot, and we do encourage you to do that. And we encourage you to apply as early as you can. What happens is you actually you get an application from us, and when you get the application, that's where you would request that you would like a ballot sent to you. When we get that, then we will mail you your ballot, and then you've got the opportunity to take your time, look through the ballot at home, kind of think about what you want to vote. You can fill it out, and then just make sure it's returned to the city clerk's office by 8 o'clock on election. Now, we do encourage you to return it as early as possible. And if you are going to use the mail, please mail early. But in addition to mailing it, you can also drop it off. We have a drop box in the front of our building. You can drop it off at the clerk's office anytime. But we do encourage you to vote by mail, because using an absentee system, because we don't necessarily know what's going to be happening with these upcoming elections, with social distancing, how long the mail is going to take. And just in order to make sure that you're able to vote and get your vote in and not have to deal with large crowds or long lines. This way you're going to make sure that you're going to get your ballot and have the opportunity for your vote to count.
So if I'm a first-time voter, I'm registering to vote. So how would I ask for the absentee ballot? Is that part of the process? Is that something I check off, or what would I do?
If you want to get an absentee ballot, you do have to request one. And what you would need to do, there's two ways you can do it. We actually have what's called a permanent absentee list.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be on the permanent absentee list, you can fill out a form. You can go to our website and get that off and send that in, or email us, but provide us that information. We will put you on the permanent list. Now, what the permanent list does, it doesn't automatically send you a ballot, but it will automatically send you the application to apply for a ballot for each election. So every time there's an election, you're going to automatically get that application and not have to worry about calling and asking for that. Once you get that application, you just select that you want a ballot, make sure that you sign it and date it, and then send it back, and then we will issue you your ballot.
So as a continuous voter, it's the same process, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and like you said, you can get on that that permanent list. You don't have to
ask for it, right? Exactly. And just because you're on the permanent list, we send you an application for to receive a ballot. If you decide you don't want to utilize that option, you don't have to vote absentee. You always have the option if you want to do that or not. But it always gives you the opportunity to get the application and make that decision, and you won't have to contact our office each election asking for an application.
Wonderful, and I think that's what I'm going to do right after this. What about if I need a replacement ballot and I've lost mine, or just need another ballot? What do I do, Walter? Do I need to go through the process again, or do I just say I lost my ballot? And what's the time frame to get a new ballot prior to the voting process?
Okay, if I could refer just back to the application process, if I could, see him, there's something to add. We have approximately 30, I was just looking at the numbers today, 3,800 people on our permanent absentee list, which we automatically send out an application to. I was in touch with the printer today. I just put the order in today. So I would just caution the people to expect about 3 weeks. Those applications should be reaching their house. It's a dual application. It'll be for both the August and November election. So you only have to fill one out for the rest of the year.
Perfect.
So with that being said, please be patient. Those applications will be coming. And to get to your question about requesting a ballot, we send the ballots out normally about 40 days, 45 days before the election. The mail is kind of iffy right now. It's slow.
Putting it kindly, yes.
Putting it kindly. So we're going to ask you to wait a week or so. We do have priority mailing. We put special stickers on, and the post office treats our election mail with the highest priority, but things are still different. I'm sure some people are experiencing sporadic deliveries and so forth. But Should you not get your ballot, or should you have lost it, destroyed it, your dog ate it, whatever the situation may be, you must request a replacement ballot in writing. So you could simply just email the clerk. It's clerk at ci.dearborn-heights.mi.us, and just give us your name, your address, and you lost your ballot, you never received it in the mail, but it must be in writing. We used to be able to do that verbally, but state law has been changed and we do have to do it in writing.
Absolutely. So the ballot's coming up. What is actually on there for Dearborn Heights residents? What are we voting on this coming election?
In August, we have a multitude of races coming up. We'll have the U.S. Senate, the U.S. Representative, the state representatives, various county offices like sheriff, clerk, treasurer. Not all the county offices are up for election, but the sheriff, the clerk, the county treasurer, the county register of deeds. Also, our county commissioners are up. Several different judges, circuit court, 36th district, probate court, and the 20th district court in Dearborn Heights.
Mhm.
And finally, there's a Wayne County Community College trustee. So the August primary, people get confused. The presidential primary was March 10th, so there'll be nothing about the president on there, but it is state and U.S. government, state, and local primary.
So our school board primaries are during August?
The school board election is in November.
November. Okay. Okay. Got that one wrong.
That just goes right to the November election.
Okay. Great. Great. And our District 7 and Crestwood is up. So do you know how many people are on the ballot for that, or replacements, or who's running?
Now we just actually put up on the website, the elections website, we put up the instructions for being able to put yourself on the ballot. So if you're interested, please go to our elections website. It's a different atmosphere, we'll keep saying that, but before people would just come into the office and they would pull a packet of petitions. For the school board, it's a little bit different, unique in the city, whereas for city offices, you do have to file by petition. For the school board, you can either file by petition or you can file with a $100 filing fee. So there's two alternatives to get on the ballot. There are 4 positions open in the District 7 and 2 positions in Crestwood. So if you go to our website, I think we're pretty good in explaining. You can download the petition packet, which would consist of the petitions, an affidavit of identity, which you must submit in duplicate, and it must be notarized, a statement of candidacy, and then we have on there the campaign finance from Wayne County. Anybody who runs for office has to file a campaign finance committee report with Wayne County and form a campaign committee. So it's right there on the front page of our elections webpage. And once again, if anybody goes to that and there's any questions, please email the clerk. I just want people to know that even though we're not physically there, we are working every day, and we're working normal hours and even more than normal hours. So I'm on my computer all day and I'm answering emails all day. Kathy's answering emails. So if you have questions, you're going to get answers.
Absolutely. I wouldn't expect anything else from you guys. You guys are amazing. You're definitely on it and keeping everyone informed. Kathy, on another note, I know, which is really, really crazy for, our nation, but we really have the lowest voter participation in the developed world, basically. And I know there's been, some glitches and what have you. What's your projection for our our voting process this year. Do you think we'll see a lot more people coming out to vote, excuse the pun, in terms of absentee ballots, maybe being more encouraged to do that than we have in the past? Or do you think this is going to even hinder our population coming out even more? I mean, it could go either way.
Right. If yesterday they did have elections in some areas, and if that was any indication of the future elections and the absentee ballots, they said that voter turnout was actually substantially up, with 99% of the people voting absentee. So if that being the case, if that were to hold true for the next two elections, I would really foresee that we would actually have more voter turnout because people would have the opportunity to get those absentee ballots and get them in. People are then also, if you're on the permanent list and you get that application, you know there's an election. You're made aware of that. So I actually think that with more absentee voting, that the voter turnout might actually be higher.
And that's my thoughts exactly. So let's hope that that's the case. One more thing: photo IDs. A lot of individuals do not have photo IDs to register. So what are we doing with that? What kind of suggestion can we give those individuals? Walter?
I think there's a multitude of photo IDs that are available for people to register from. State ID card, a Michigan ID card. I believe you can obtain a state ID card even if you're of less financial ability. They provide free for certain incomes. We also accept passports. We accept tribal ID cards, student ID cards that are current, IDs from other states and municipalities that are current. So there's a lot of different ways to have ID, but if you don't, you can still register by mail. You can register on the internet, and you would have to confirm your ID somewhere down the road. So that
is there an affidavit that someone has to sign in regards to their identity to get past that photo ID?
If we're speaking about when you're voting, you can sign the back of the application to vote if you're voting in person.
Mm-hmm.
And the legal document is an affidavit of person not in possession of their ID, and that person just signs their name and attests that I am in fact Walter Prushevich and I don't have my ID with me, and you're allowed to vote. That is not a barrier to not being able to vote.
Perfect. Absolutely. Hopefully, we don't know what November is going to bring. And, the concept of social distancing is definitely going to be prevalent back then. So I know that this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. I know you two are up for it, definitely. And you have things, very focused and in control. But we do want to ask everyone out there to be as patient as possible, especially with the communication process and the paperwork having to move back and forth. Kathy, do you have anything that you'd like to add, or any suggestions or requests from our citizens and from those that are going to be wanting to come out to vote?
Yeah, the one thing I would like to add is if you are not registered to vote, please register to vote and register early. Although you can register up to and including on election day, the earlier you register, the easier it will be for you. You have until July 20th to register anywhere. If you register after July 20th at any place other than the clerk's office, you're going to have to come in to provide proof of residency to our office. So the reason I bring that up is because we had on election day, we had a lot of people coming into our office that had registered a day or prior to, and they went to their polls. Then they found out they had to come into the office to provide proof of registration, and then they had to go back to go vote. So we want to make it easy for you. We don't want to make any unnecessary trips. So go ahead and get registered. First off, we had people that came in that were already registered that didn't realize it. You can actually go on the State of Michigan website, find out if you are registered. If you're not registered, then what you can do is you can go ahead and you can get that registration, get that early, and then you'll be able to vote on election day.
Wonderful. So July 20th, prior to, plenty of time to do it. Walter, any last thoughts?
Yes. What I would like to say is please start acting now, start planning now. Do not wait until the last minute. Um, People wait until the day before the election and they call us, I didn't get my absentee ballot. It's too late. It's too late. Don't wait, especially in these times. We don't know what the voting is going to look like, but start early. Encourage anybody who's got people that are candidates that they want to get votes for. Encourage those people to register now.
Mhm.
Another thing we get is that, oh, I don't have access to the internet. I think we've seen in our community that, my gosh, people, I see the giving table, I see people delivering food, I see people giving out. People are so much more willing to lend a helping hand now that we're home and we're, so look out for those who may not have computer skills or not have a computer. And certainly we can help them find a way to get on the computer and register to vote. I'm urging everybody, please, I want to say this, and do an absentee ballot if you possibly can. We're going to have democracy. We're going to have a safe election. We're going to have a secure election, and we're going to have a fair election. We had the election on March 10th on presidential primary, and that was when I believe that was the date that we had our first positive case of COVID. We took precautions then, not nearly what we're doing now, but we had extra wipes. We had signs in the voting booths, wash your hands. We had wipes. Our people were instructed to wipe down the pens and so forth and so on. I say this, and I can say this only, we called each and every one of our poll workers. Kathy called everybody who worked at the physical locations. I called all our absentee voter polls, 180 people. And by the grace of God, we did not have one illness. We're so thankful for that. We don't want any illnesses. We want voting, but we want people to stay safe. So I know people say, I like to go in person. Well, I like to go in person, believe me. I've only voted absentee one time in my life, and I've been voting for 40 some years, and that was the 2016 presidential, because I was not afraid that I would be so busy that day with the administrative duties that I would forget to vote. So yeah, we like to go in and we like to take our pen and make those circles, but please consider voting from home.
Absolutely. And I think that's excellent advice. Like you said, you still get the voting process in gear, and you still have an opportunity to cast your voice and your vote. So staying safe, washing those hands, social distancing, all very important. And I know that the two of you are going to make this process smooth. But again, patience is a virtue, and we know that you're going to get those things out, and the paperwork and the absentee ballots and the applications. And if somebody has not gotten it and want to know information, they can call and find out, what the process is. But again, we just ask that everybody be patient. This process is going to take place, and it's going to take place in a very, very expeditious way, and also in a way that we are all accustomed to. So go out, get your absentee ballots, get online, call Secretary of State, call the clerk's office. There's someone there to answer your calls and answer your emails. And this will be done together, and we will get through this together. So I want to thank the both of you very much for everything that you're doing and still being on it 24/7. We really appreciate your work. Walter and Kathy from the Dearborn Heights clerk's office. And thank you for all you do. And we will hope to see you soon. And I know that November will come and go, and we will have a successful election. So thank you so much. Please be safe, and thank you for being here on WDHT TV Off the Cuff. And thank you to all. Please be safe, safe distancing, and we still need to stay home. Thank you all for joining us.
Thanks for everything you do, Siham. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you very much.